A pleasure to be here with Miss Joie Bose. Ma'am, welcome to the Kolkata Literature Festival once again. And my first question is about your session, which is very curiously titled Poetry in Motion. So, what can we expect from it?
The world is in motion all the time. We are flowing from one place to another. And my session is going to be a tribute to that, from where we were and where we have come. And along the way, we have lost certain beautiful poets who have graced this hallowed ground, and the memories remain and their words remain. So, yes, my session is going to be a tribute to two of them who passed away last month. First being Shri Keshinath Tripathi ji. He was the former governor of West Bengal. And the second is Shovik Bandyopadhyay, a very, very well known and well loved Bengali poet who's won many awards. So it's going to be a tribute to both of them.
Wonderful. Now, you started writing when you were just 8 years old, which means that you would have gotten published very early on in life as well. But tell us about how your attitude towards writing or approach towards writing, particularly poetry, has evolved over time.
Right. So initially, I thought poetry is all about rhyming couplets. But then later on, I realized that it's about a bit more. And I still remember Time You Old Gypsy Man, that poem in Radiant Reader. Okay. And there I understood what metaphor is, what allegory is. And that fascinated me. How you can say one thing and mean something completely different. That the motifs, symbolism, that kind of got me. And throughout the last 20 years that I've been writing, initially I used poetry to share higher philosophical ideals, okay? What is life and things such as that. But well, for a 10-year-old, what is life? But from there on, it became, a medium to express my feelings for someone. All 16-year-olds writing about love, that phase. And then I began and this happens with everybody. Then in college, I began questioning certain ideals in the society. And now it's more about reflections and things that I've learned throughout and through certain experiences and the learnings that span humanity, that crosses everyone. We all learn some things, and I've realized that when we're talking about a motive or a feeling, the way I perceive a feeling, you will perceive it in a different manner. And a good poem is something that evokes that feeling not only in me but in you as well, you as in the author. And that's how beautiful poetry has become for me.
As someone who successfully straddled the worlds of management as well as poetry writing, do you feel that in some ways they complement each other? Are there any overlapping features?
Absolutely. It's all about creativity and seeing the world differently. It's about, everything is about innovation right now, right? People are working in a certain manner. There's a certain process to it. But who is successful? Successful is a person who will see it differently and implement it differently in a manner that it brings maximum value, right? Same for poetry. And why so? Because you are seeing the world as black and white. But as William Blake said, a poet can see the entire world. So eternity in an hour and everything in a grain of sand. I'm sorry, I forget the quote, but you get what I'm referring to, right? Yeah.
My final question is about the fact that you've done some exemplary work as part of the Women in Technology, the WIT network. Now, what I want to ask is, do you feel that being a poet, being somebody who has such creative instincts, helps you in these sort of roles where you coordinate with other people, where it's a lot about taking up challenges that may be logistical, that may be even identity based? How do you see the role of poetry as part of helping you in organizations like these?
Great question. Now, let me share this with you. So, poetry, when I'm here as a poet, I think poetry is a movement, okay? And throughout my life, I've tried doing this all the time. I have tried to bring together people to realize how poetry is beautiful, especially at a time when people were moving away from literature, moving away from poetry. Social media had suddenly come in, and people were invested in other things. Reading had gone down, writing had gone down. At that time, I helped people realize that peace and happiness is priceless, and that priceless thing is something that you can find in poetry. And because I believed in that, we were able to start a movement, bring together people. It was fascinating, okay? And I remember we did this one thing where people were walking down the street. I stopped them and I asked them, can you write a poem? And they were like, no, I can't. And I'm like, no, you can. And immediately sitting there, right, on the streets, say in front of a bookstore in College Street, we started giving them a session. And that was fantastic. That's when I had won the GIZ fellowship for writing, Microsoft GIZ fellowship for writing. And it was brilliant. Now you see, that experience was helping get people together, learn something new, and add value to their lives and add value to the lives of others. Okay. Now, cut to poetry. Sorry, cut to management. That's what we all do, right? Try making the lives a little bit better than it was before.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a lovely time at KLF.